Project One Help. In this video, I'm going to show you how to compute the final grade for these course. Okay, final grade using these scores provided on this project using Excel. Now, the first thing we need to do is to copy and paste or transfer these scores, these table of grades in this project into Excel. And one of the easiest way that is helpful to share is by downloading this Word document, Word version of this project. And when you download this, okay, I'm saying this is easier because you will not miss any of the scores. All right, if you copy this table and paste right into Excel, you know that you're getting the exact information that you have. Okay, so instead of typing the exam name, the scores, which sometimes you might mistype some of the scores or you might miss out on some of the scores, which will ruin everything that you have. You can, on your Word document, outside the table, you should see a plus sign. So you click on the plus sign outside the table, you right click on your mouse, you copy, and with an Excel sheet open, you can just copy and paste. Now I'm going to go a couple cells down because I need to type in my name, the project name, and the course name, which is one of the instructions that we need to follow under this project. So you copy, you paste, you right click and paste into Excel, and on top of that you need your name, you need the course name. Because I teach multiple sections of this course, you want to type this with your section number. So find your section number and add that section number into it so that I know where that exam score is coming, where the Excel sheet is coming, or which class that Excel sheet is coming from, if that makes sense. So you need the project name as well. So this is the project name, which is weighted averages. And then when that part is done, you need a column for the weight. You need the category averages. And you also need the category percentage point. So essentially the category percentage point is the weight multiplied by the category averages. All right, now I'm putting that as category percentage point because in the project these are the headings that we want you to go by. So now that we have that, you can go back and refer to the project and get to know the weights for these assignments. So exam 1 is 20%, exam 2 is 20%, final exam is 25%, comprehensive review is 5%, project is 10%, quiz is 5%, instructor's choice is 10%, and homework is 5%. So I'm going to type that into the Excel. All right. Now for the percentage symbol you see right next to the number, I use the shift and the number 5 on my keyboard to get that. I have 10% for project, quizzes is 5%, instructor's choice is 10%, and homework is 5%. You always want to double check that these add up to 100%. Now next, we need the category averages. And how do we calculate category averages in Excel? We use the equal average function in Excel. So we're going to type equal average. Okay, you want to begin by typing equal because that tells Excel you want to do some calculations, and you're going to highlight or select the cell that contains exam 1 score. you want to find the average for exam 2. Since we have a single score for exam 2, the average is going to be the same thing. You do the same thing for the final exam, equal average. You highlight the cell that contains the final exam, equal average. Okay, comprehensive review also has 1 score, so the average for that single score will still be the same thing. Now, this is where the numbers changes for the multiple scores, the assignments with multiple scores. So you type equal average. Project has 2 scores. You're going to select the cells that contains the 2 project score and you hit enter. Equal average. Quizzes has 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 scores, including the 0 scored on the quiz. So you highlight all the cell that contains the quiz scores. You do the same thing for all of that. Instructor's choice. Equal average. You're going to select one cell and drag it to the last cell and you hit enter. Now when that is done, all right, so the ones with the multiple scores, after typing equal average, you click into one cell, the first cell, okay, the first cell that contains the first score, and you drag it to the last score. All right, that's what you do, and you hit enter to get your average. Now with the category percentage point, you need to multiply each of the weight by their respective averages. So equal, you highlight the cell that contains the weight, multiply, so you use the asterisk for multiplication, which is the shift in the number 8. You highlight the cell that contains the average for exam 1 and you hit enter. Equal, you highlight the cell that contains exam 2 weight, you multiply, you highlight the cell that contains the average for exam 2. Equal, you highlight the cell that contains the average, the weight for final exam, multiply, select the cell that contains the average for final exam, and repeat the same steps for the remaining assignment. All right, so that's the goal for this project. You don't want to do the math somewhere and bring your work into Excel. All right, when I receive your Excel sheet, I'm going to be checking all of that. All right, and this is how I know if I put my cursor in any of the cells that you use the Excel functions for, it should tell me in the formula bar what you use, okay, what Excel function you use to get that answer. So if I'm not seeing any function, that means you did not use any of the Excel functions. Same with the category percentage point. If I put my cursor here, okay, in the 14, it tells me the Excel formula that I use, okay, what I use to get to my answer. All right. Now we need the final grade, and the final grade is the sum of all the numbers in the last column. Okay, going to add up all the scores or all the numbers under category percentage point is the sum of the category percentage point. So I'm going to create a name right beneath the table of grades, and using equal sum. Since it is total, we use the equal sum function in Excel, and you put your cursor on the first cell, you drag it to the last cell that contains the category percentage point, and you hit enter, and that gives you the final grade for the student. And you want to highlight this, okay, any color you want. So you go to the top part and you can select any color you want, okay. If you want it it should be a lighter color that I can see. If you want it as blue, you can change it to blue. If you want it as gray, you can change it to gray or orange, whatever color you prefer. So when that is done, you go to the bottom part and you're going to select the sheet number and you rename that and hit enter. All right, you go to the sheet and you just label it as question 1. So that is for the first part. So you save this with the course name, the section number, and your name, and you can upload that into the first question. All right. Now, if you want to work through the third questions, okay, where you have to do the adjustment, you copy and paste the original Excel sheet, you add new sheet, and you paste that. So let's say you want to know what the final grade will be when project 1 score is 100. Now, because you are using Excel functions in here, whatever adjustment you make is going to update your final grade. So you see how that changed from 75 to 76. All right, so that is what you do. And when you get a final grade, you can now go and answer the questions for that question. So you type in, or you type what the final grade was when you change the project 1 score to 100, and that you add the letter grade also to be able to answer those questions. All right, so there are 6 questions in total, so you're going to create 6 sheets. So the sheet 2, you click on sheet 2, double click on that, and you rename this into question 3. You add sheet, new sheet, you copy the original Excel from question 1, you paste into that, and you do your adjustment, and you use that to answer the remaining questions. All right, so I hope this helps, and let me know if you have any questions.